Hi everybody, Todd Woods, professional angler. I'm over here at the 2017 Bassmaster Classic. I'm at the Yo-Zuri booth. I'm at booth number 522. I'd love it if you guys come and see me. I'd love to talk fishing with you. Right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you how I fish glide baits. Glide baits can be very, very expensive. But they work. You can catch small fish from 12 inches all the way to 10 pounders with this bait. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the technique that I use. I'm going to show you the line and the pound test that I use, and I'm even going to show you the knot that I'm going to be using. Okay, so with a little history, I'm from California. I'm from the West Coast, and I like to fish swim baits. I love to fish swim baits, as a matter of fact. This particular bait is great in the spring all the way to the fall. Okay, when fish are eating gizzard shad, if they're protecting their beds and you have a bait this size, a lot of times what will happen is the fish will go in defensive mode, or even if the fish may just be hungry and want to eat it. Okay, so usually what I'll do is I'll start out with your standard Palomar knot. This is 20-pound test, 20-pound line. This is really, I like to use 100% fluorocarbon. The reason why I use fluorocarbon is because when you're working this bait, a lot of times what will happen is that fish will eat that bait, and you'll need to actually feel that fish eat that bait. With fluorocarbon line, especially 100% fluorocarbon, you'll be able to feel the contact that fish will make with that bait. When you get a bite, you want to set the hook right away, and I start with your standard Palomar knot, which is basically a loop that I use. You put the loop on the inside. From there, you want to do a standard overhand, okay, just like so. You have to make sure it's large enough that the bait will actually go in the loop, like so, okay. Now, as you can see, I tightened that up. I didn't make it too tight, because usually what I'll do is I'll wet that, just put a little moisture, just like that. Okay, and then I would clip that line. That 20-pound test is pretty tough to use. Okay, this is 20-pound, 100% fluorocarbon. I like to use the new Yo-Zuri TopKnot. Okay, it's really thin in diameter. Not only is it thin in diameter, but it has no stretch whatsoever. Okay, which you don't want any stretch with that line. Okay, this is Yo-Zuri TopKnot 20-pound. It's really thin in diameter. Okay, but yet it's really, really strong. Okay, so as far as working that bait, you can use a rod from anywhere from 7 feet to 8 feet. I use an 8-foot medium action rod, a rod that I would use for an Alabama rig that has a little bit of tip to it. Okay, and it's very important to have some tip, because when you're working that bait, as you reel it in slowly, that bait's going to want to make an action like so. Okay, kind of what we call a glide action. Okay, it makes that glide action. Now, a lot of times what will happen is that fish, when that fish comes behind it and it follows it, you give that bait just a slight twitch, and that bait will turn around, and a lot of times that's when that fish will eat that bait. Okay, so I like to use an 8-foot rod because I want to be able to make really long casts. It's best to have the clearest water that you can get away with. Okay, I really like clear water because I want to be able to see that bait. When that bait gets close to me, I want to be able to see it. Okay, that way if there's a fish following it, you'll be able to react to that fish. Now, another thing, if you're on a really long cast and you have a feeling that a fish is behind it, which a lot of times what will happen with that bait is you think, oh, there's probably a fish behind it. You give that one little slight twitch, and that's when that bait will turn around, and that's when that fish will eat that bait. Okay, so that's basically how you want to work a glide bait. Okay, now this is a glide bait, and what's nice about this glide bait is really not that expensive. Some glide baits cost as much as $300. This particular bait only costs $40. It retails for $39.99, you know, which is very inexpensive for a glide bait. And it's like I said, it's a perfect bait for small fish as well as huge fish. You can catch fish, you can catch 10, 12-pound fish. I'm looking forward to using this particular bait at the California Delta. It's got a lot of big ones swimming around, and they also have trout in there and salmon, and it's a perfect size bait for catching big fish. And basically that's what I do. That's how I like to do it.